Welcome back to the Ultimate Deck Show, episode 2 now.
Numero 2, yes.
Super amount of experience under our belts now as YouTubers.
Veterans.
Popular with our kids now, because we're on YouTube and 100 people have watched us before, so now we're cool.
Yeah, now we're super cool. Super cool.
First episode, if you haven't watched it yet, was all about Trex and all about Trex's new colors and all the new changes that they have coming up for 2019. And as we mentioned on that show, we're going to go through each of the brands that we carry here at the Ultimate Deck Shop and give you the same kind of rundown on all of these other brands that we carry, which there's 6 of them that we carry. So today, we're going to get into the sole Canadian company of the entire lineup of all the awesome products we have in the store. There's one that's Canadian made.
That's right.
And it's Clubhouse.
Clubhouse Decking.
So Clubhouse, for you, that's probably the least known brand that we have in the store too. Likely, if you gave somebody who walked in here the 6 names and brands we carry, that's likely the least known one.
So. I would say it's probably the least popular.
Yeah, and
doesn't mean it's bad.
Definitely doesn't mean it's bad. It's one of the, I think, one of the best products we have in the store, but it just hasn't had a lot of marketing dollars behind it in the past. It's skipped around from a few different ownership groups in the last few years. I became familiar with it in 18? So probably 2014, 2015, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I saw it, and it had been around for longer than that. It's just that it was new to me because nobody in our market was carrying it.
Right.
I saw it down at Deck Expo in Chicago 4 years ago, right around the time that we were opening this store, and we were looking for a product that we could bring to market that wasn't here yet. That was a good product, and this is what we found was Clubhouse. At that time, they were owned by a plastics company called the Koenig. I believe the colors were the same as they are now back then, but they were with the Koenig for a year or two since then.
There's been a few variations in the colors since then as well, I think.
Yeah, colors have changed a little bit. I don't know if it's intentional or not, but anyway. They then got sold to Tapco, which is another exterior siding products company. Tapco had it for a couple of years, put some good marketing dollars behind it, started to build a bit of a brand. Then Tapco was bought out by a company out of Australia called Boral, which decided it didn't want to be in the decking market at all, decided to axe Clubhouse. They were I think it was just gonna fold up shop until Tru North Composites came out of the woodwork, which is a company out in Ontario, Canada, that decided to buy all the machinery, the inventory, move the operation up to Canada, into Ontario, and start manufacturing there. So some people I know, when they hear the name Clubhouse, always ask, like, didn't that go out of business a few years ago? And no, it didn't. It was on the brink of.
Yeah. But
it's alive and well and Canadian made now. So the product is still out there. So we're going to go through the lineup. It's not a big lineup with Clubhouse. That's what it, for good or bad, it's not a giant lineup. They don't have a ton of colors like some of the composite guys do, or composite guys for the American watchers. So it shouldn't take too long to go through them. But the things that I like about Clubhouse, though, is that the traction and the durability of this stuff is unbelievable, actually. It's probably one of the most durable boards as far as scratching and scuffing goes. It's pretty tough to put a mark in this stuff.
Yeah, I think, once you start getting into the kind of the PVC realm of deck boards, you can get to a certain point where you start splitting hairs as far as like with the durability and the traction control and things like that. But Clubhouse, out of all the PVC brands that we do carry, it's probably close to the top of the list as far as the durability and the traction control goes.
Yeah, if we had to rank, even including the composite, I've been getting a little bit of flack from the American watchers about how we say,
because you just said composite.
How we say composite. So we shot a podcast earlier today with another American deck builder, and I told him I would start saying composite just for him.
It sounds super weird.
It does sound super weird.
Please don't say it again.
They're saying it incorrectly down there. I swear. I'm going to get emails and DMs about that now. But if you had to rank the 6 brands in our store here, both the composite manufacturers and the PVC manufacturers, and rank them in order of scratch resistance and traction, Clubhouse would rank number 1 in both those categories. And it would be by a fair margin. The other PVC guys are fairly close in traction, but a little bit further off in the scratch resistance. Great board, great product, and Canadian made, if that matters to you now for the Canadian viewers. So let's go through the colors. Clubhouse has their lineup split into 2 lines. So last week we talked about Trex, how they've got the Select line and the Enhanced line and the Transcend line. Clubhouse does the same thing, but they've only got 2 lines. So they've got their Earth Tone collection and their Hardwood collection. The Earth Tone we'll go through first here. It's the one that's just a solid color, no variegation. It's kind of replicating the painted deck board look,
Right. Yep.
And does it quite well. The interesting thing about Clubhouse until this year was that they've had dual-sided boards, dual-colored boards. So on one side, you had one color, and on the flip side, this one's hard to tell because the colors are similar, but
they're similar.
you had
we'll do this.
we'll get to the other ones. You had 2 color options if you just flipped the board, which was great for dealers and distributors because it cut down your inventory. And also, if you were building something and you wanted to flip a board and choose a different complementary color for an inlay or something like that, you could. But this year, they're actually coming out with single-sided boards or single-colored boards as well.
Single-colored boards,
so same color both sides. Anyways, the first one we have here is in the Earth Tone collection. This is probably I would say the least 2 popular colors. This one here is called Sandstone, and so that's a bit of a kind of a creamy light color. Very good if you're wanting something that kind of reduces how much heat buildup there's going to be because it's a lighter color. So that's a good thing. Again, not a super popular color. On the backside, I personally really like this color. It's called Clay, and so it's grayish, but it's kind of got that earthiness to it, kind of a taupiness to it as well.
Yeah, I like the Sandstone. Actually, one of the display decks behind us, it's got one of the other Clubhouse colors as the main field decking, Ironwood. And we've got the contrast with the Sandstone. I like the sharp contrast, the lighter and the darker.
Yeah, it looks quite sharp.
Yeah, that's. I'm definitely a fan of the Sandstone for sure.
Yeah.
One thing I think we should probably mention with the solid edge boards with Clubhouse, it's just one color, so you can't actually. They don't actually manufacture their solid edge boards in kind of this 2-sided color option. I'm not sure exactly why they would do that.
I think they did actually, just the distribution didn't carry it. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird because you could see the line where the colors
color split.
flipped. So it was kind of an odd thing to use on the outside edge. I think that's probably why distribution decided to carry just the full one color on the solid edge boards, but it is what it is. Because if you do notice this is going to be tough to see on the camera. I don't know if I can get it to focus. We should probably do this on a different board, but on the edge of the board, you can actually see right there, if I can get this camera to focus on closer up here, if that's going to happen, there's actually there's a line of color where the color changes from front to back. So on the solid edge board, it's not ideal because that's you can see that on the edge of your stairs and whatnot. So, and we're at the back half of the Earth Tone collection. there's only 4 colors in the Earth Tone collection. These were a little bit more popular for sure.
Yeah.
The color Justin's holding up here is Brookstone, and so that's kind of a nice light gray. It was popular in this market, in the Canadian market, because grays were popular.
I'm a fan of this one. I think out of the Earth Tone, like Sandstone and Brookstone would probably be my 2. Probably be the 2 top ones for me.
Yeah.
And this would be the other one.
On the back side, we've got Cobblestone, which is a light brown / tanny colored board. And so each of these kind of pairs real nicely with some of the Hardwood collection. Like there's a dark brown that goes nice with this, and there's a dark gray that goes nice with the Brookstone. So these are quite popular, these colors. Should mention too that Clubhouse does come with those grooved boards, so you can install these with the clip system. Tiger Claw works quite nicely with these.
Yep.
Any universal clip system that works on 1-inch groove decking will work with this stuff. So, because some PVC manufacturers out there don't make a grooved board, and so at least you have the option with Clubhouse here. So, nice painted look, durable, great traction, decent price point. Up in Canada, we've sold these in the $5 a linear foot range. Down the States, I don't know. There's always it's never just a straight exchange rate thing because there's logistics efficiencies that are in whatnot that are freight and whatnot that's less in the States. So I'm guessing that these probably sold somewhere around the $3 mark in the States per linear foot. So as far as PVCs go, a decent price point. Obviously more expensive than some of the lower cost composites, but composites.
So that's it. That's it for that.
That's it for the Earth Tone collection. We are through.
We're just like banging through this, eh?
Yeah.
All right, up next.
So up next is the Hardwood collection. Now, the difference between the Earth Tone and the Hardwoods was the fact that the Hardwood collection has a little bit of variegation in it.
Right.
So you've got they're darker colors in general too, but then they also had some streaking. And it's very subtle with Clubhouse. It's not like we talked about Trex last week that it's very aggressive streaking. Lots of black, lots of streaking. These guys have been a little bit more subtle.
Yeah. Yeah, you really have to take a good look at it. It's nice though, and there has been a little bit of. I guess we'll just explain this first color, which is Ironwood. So it's kind of like a dark gray, charcoaly type
See if
thing
we can
going
get that
on.
to focus right up in there. Nice dark gray. I don't know if you can even see it there. I'm going to slide the board down. You can see some of the variegation. It's very slight. Is there one that I can kind of point out? There's a bit of a black streak right here. It's very slight. It's just little tiny black streaks, just enough to add some visual interest, but it's definitely not.
It's not
a
popping.
ton.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't pop like the Trex boards do.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
that's right.
It's subtle. It's just a different flavor. That's all.
Now I think you were starting to head towards the conversation about the color changes that Clubhouse has seen over the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. Some of it I think intentional, and others I don't know if it was intentional or not. It may be an unfortunate side effect of moving operations a few times, but this sample we have here I think is about a 2-year-old sample.
Right.
So the gray it's nice and dark, and you can see some of the black streaking, but there's been a couple changes where this has gotten darker and darker over the years. Yeah. The base color has gotten darker and darker over the years, which made the overall board look a little bit nicer, because it's a little bit darker and more exotic, but it started to really make it even tougher to see that little bit of black streaking that was in there. Like the stuff out there nowadays that we ordered this past 2018 and assuming 19 going forward is so dark that you almost can't see the streaking in it.
It's almost like it's a black board or like just a super dark or gray board.
Yeah, and
almost.
so
it's really tough to see.
I don't know how I feel about that. I like the darker look, but I really think that they need some variegation in this stuff. They need something to kind of give it some visual interest to set it apart from the earth tone line.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Aside from just being a dark board. But anyways, this thing is ridiculously popular. Like this Ironwood color sells like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily on full decks, because it is quite dark and it does get quite hot.
A lot of border. Like we've sold a lot of the Ironwood for borders.
Yeah.
For some sharp contrast. Like this one of the other brands here that's kind of got that gray tone with some of the black streaking in it. It goes really well with this.
Yeah, it's been a great partner to like TimberTech Silver Maple, which is like a nice light gray with some woodiness to it and then some black streaking. It pairs great with that. It pairs great with Fibron Cottage. It pairs great with like basically any light gray color. It goes dynamite with. Looks really sharp.
Yeah, it's been very popular as far as that goes.
It's always been one of our top selling boards, in spite of the fact that it usually only gets used for borders and seams and whatnot, not as much for full decks, but it gets used in that aspect so often that it's still a top seller overall. So on the flip side, we've got mahogany, and so that's a nice kind of deep purplish board. And so same thing, it's got some of that black streaking running through it. A little bit tough to see on this again. Not a ton of variegation. But everybody has a red board in their lineup, and this is Clubhouse's red board.
And these two actually pair well together, the Ironwood and the mahogany.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're looking for kind of deep, rich tones, those two together work great. I don't know if this I've seen this actually used with the Ipe color, which is kind of a yellowish board, and it looks pretty good too. It's not for everybody, obviously, but if you're looking for a reddish tone, this is a nice, deep, rich, purpley, it kind of looks like purple heartwood, or I don't know if I'd say it's maybe a little bit too rich for replicating like Ipe or something. I mean, it's called mahogany,
maybe.
So that's what they're trying to do, but it is a nice looking board for sure, though. So that's the first half, or first third now, I guess.
First third?
This used to be the first half, now it's the first third of the Hardwood Collection.
Yes, this is also very popular as well. This is Walnut. So same thing, very subtle streaking. And the color actually has changed a little bit on this as well.
Got a lot darker too.
Got a lot darker as well. I mean, it's obviously got the brownie tones to it. I'm not sure there's anything much different on this one.
It's a beautiful board. Like I don't like that they've gotten so dark with it.
You can't even really see the.
It almost looks like Ironwood now. It's so dark, but back when it wasn't as dark, you could see that little black streaking in it. It looked phenomenal. It looked really, really nice. I just those color shift changes caused retailers a big headache and distributors a giant headache over the last couple of years. Managing those, because I mean, you would notice we had a couple customers who bought this color deck, and through us not realizing the changes or trying our best to sort through inventory and send the right ones, you get a couple boards in there that weren't the right color, and you put them side by side, it was very noticeable. So it's caused us some issues for sure.
Yep.
I would like to see them straighten that out, because I mean, even as far as the plugs went,
that's right.
We had a whole inventory worth of Pro Plug and Cortex that were clearly cut from boards from 2016, 17, and then all of a sudden we get the 18, and the plugs are so light colored now that they wouldn't even match.
Right.
Like, you might as well use just colored screw. So we had to get that all swapped out. So it's been a bit of a challenge for sure. Honestly, if I'm Clubhouse, and feel free to reach out and bring us out there, and we'll do some consulting.
Absolutely.
For you to try to right the ship here. I mean, I've got a ton of feedback that I'd love to give them on this stuff. Like, there's a few changes I would make that would make this stuff just dynamite. And right now, like, with how everything's gotten kind of dark and solid color looking, it's not uncommon for people to tell us that they feel like this is the most uninspired color palette of all the brands that are on our wall.
Right.
Which is sad to say, because like I said, the Walnut and Ironwood used to really catch people's eye, but the fact that it's gotten so kind of dark and lost the variation in it, now it looks a little bit blah on the wall now. Yeah. So unfortunately, if I would change a few things within this, and then I think they could be back on the right track. But
I mean, at the end of the day, a customer comes down to personal preference, what they want, and what's going to match, what's going to go, what they feel best with the palette and the finish of their house, or whatever it is that they're trying to achieve color wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like going darker with this, and almost wiping out the variegation on the board. I don't know. I feel like there could be some improvements.
They almost went so dark with the base color in this that they almost should have flipped and did a lighter variegation in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what if they would have done super dark brown, but then put like light tanny streaks in it or something
Fibron's latte.
Yeah.
Right?
Something like that. Put a lighter streak into it.
Or the Earl Grey even.
Yeah. Anyway, harped on this color enough. The problem is it used to be one of my favorites. I really liked how
it's a great color, and it is popular.
It is, yeah. It's still popular. It's just it's gotten a little less attractive over the years, but still a great board.
Yeah. Now I think with the Ironwood and the mahogany, that's where you notice. That's where you really notice the color change, because they went so dark.
Yeah.
But on the Ipe, you can actually, with the changes that they made on that, you can actually see the embossing. The embossing's more aggressive almost.
Ipe was the one that I would say for sure looked better with the darkening color changes. It got less, because this one's still pretty yellow. Yeah. It got less yellowy, a little bit more browny, a little bit more neutral. I think probably a little bit less polarizing of a color. Right. So I think I think most of the color changes, they look better as dark boards. They just should have also increased the amount of variegation or the contrast of the variegation at the same time. Yeah. So this is Ipe. Exactly. Or Ipe, or Ipe, or Ipe. Ipe. Whatever names people come up with when they see these three letters printed on a piece of paper.
That three letter, that wood that's spelled with three letters.
Yeah. We've got some reps that call it Ipe and Ippy and whatever. It's Ipe, for those that don't know. Now, I don't think that this board is a dead ringer for real Ipe. No. I don't, like, it's the wrong color for it, but nonetheless, this board is called Ipe. Yeah. A nice kind of goldeny variegated board. Pairs very well with the walnut that's on the back side. Looks great together. So that's a nice one too. No changes again this year. All the colors that we discussed right now have been around for years, and they're staying into the next year. The only difference being that before you had the two-sided board colors, and now you've also got the option of just one side. So if you want to get all Ipe on both sides, you can now get those boards as well. So that's what Clubhouse has looked like for the last few years. That's what Clubhouse has looked like for as long as I've known Clubhouse. I don't know if they had previous generations of colors that were discontinued before I became aware of the product, but as long as we've carried it, that's been the Clubhouse lineup. Now Tru North Composites, and because that's their name, I'm not going to say composite, because they're a Canadian company, and it's Tru North Composites, which they also make a composite decking as well under the label Tru North, but they bought Clubhouse, and this is their premium PVC line, so they've decided to bring out a couple new colors to the Clubhouse lineup this year. and a bit of a different approach as well, because I believe, I'm going to check my phone in the middle of this, which is probably a faux pas, but I asked a question, and I don't know if it's been answered, it hasn't, about the fire rating on these things. So the word at Deck Expo from the Clubhouse booth was that these new boards, and you can bring one out and show the backside,
So this is the front, this is the
have
back.
what, if I recall correctly, a Class A fire rating on the back side of the board. So I don't, there's got to be a commercial purpose for that, I'm sure. I don't know exactly what the thinking was behind that decision, but it must be a commercial application type thing, because
Well, we were talking about it before, how we don't really know from like a residential perspective what type of an advantage that this would have. Anyway.
there's wood
TBD,
underneath the deck.
TBD.
I'm sure there's a good reason, so I shouldn't
Right.
mock it. I'm sure there's a good reason, but I feel like maybe they spent effort doing something that should have been further down the priority list with the Clubhouse lineup, to be honest. But these boards are one-sided. So the other previous years, you've got the embossing on both sides, and with the, there was color on both sides. You could flip the board. On the solid colors, you could flip the board, and it was also embossed and colored on the backside. These ones are not, and so I think that was in an effort to reduce cost by not embossing the back, add in the fire rating, and not have the cost jump on you. So now we've got embossing on one side, the coloring is on both sides, I guess, but the back side is smooth. There's I don't know why, but there's a slight amount of embossing in there, and I don't know what that would be about. But
Just maybe when it went through the roller, maybe. Not sure.
I also took some flack last week because apparently we say a boat.
No, we don't.
Like, I listened to it again.
What do you mean, like?
And I did. I was saying about. So there's a pretty widespread
There's a stereotype.
stereotype that Canadians
fair.
say a boot, but that's an Ontario thing. People from Ontario say a boot all the time, and I hear it even.
Well, even
Or
East
your
Coast.
who's-
East Coast is very, like.
The further east you get, the more goofy you speak.
Oh yeah.
Out here,
I'm an East Coaster. So
you
I
watch
can-
Letterkenny,
I can
you'll
make-
hear
I can
how
make-
we speak here.
I can make fun of East Coasters all day long.
That's right.
Because I am one.
So anyway, somebody, I can't remember who it was now, sent me a message. Oh, it was Dunning and Decking from Australia. He's like, boy, you guys do actually say a boat.
About.
And I was like, what are you talking about? So I went back, I was like, are you talking about the podcast with Dustin from Aztec Carpentry, who's from Ontario, Aztec Decks now? I thought for sure he must have been referencing that. I was like, oh yeah, because Dustin says a boot. He's like, no, I'm watching the show on YouTube and you guys are saying a boat.
Well, I did notice Wade when we were talking about his blowout.
Right?
Blowout.
Yeah.
Blowout.
What an opportunity we're missing here with him not here to have that to lean on for comedic relief, right? But anyway, so I listened back to it, and he wasn't wrong. I was saying a boat a little bit.
But see now it's you're making a conscious effort, or even subconsciously you're making an effort to not say it. So you're saying it worse.
So about this board.
There we go.
About
yeah.
this board.
About.
Driftwood. This is called driftwood.
Sure. Let's go with driftwood.
Let's go with driftwood. So let's get back on track here.
Okay.
About this board.
There's some slight variegation in it.
Medium, there is a little bit of variegation. It's very subtle again. And I don't know, this is a sample board. I don't know if this is a final representation of what this is going to look like, but this is a medium gray. It's an attractive color.
It's a cross between Brookstone and Ironwood, I feel.
You know what this looks kind of like? It just dawned on me now is clamshell from Trex. It's
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
a similar color to that.
It is
So-
similar. Well, pull up the Brookstone and the Ironwood there.
Dig back in here. I'm going to give you Ironwood and we'll hold these three together. It's in the middle, right?
It's in between.
It's a nice color. Here's the Brookstone. I'm going to try to set this down without making a bunch of noise. There's the Ironwood, and here's... Boy, oh boy, that's a lot of gray.
It is a lot of gray. Yeah.
Which, these guys are a Canadian company, so grays are all the rage
Yeah.
in Canada, so...
I don't know.
Maybe that's why.
I guess it depends on the gray that you want.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not an unattractive board.
No, it's a good-looking board. I just think that it could have used some more variegation again. If you put a lot more black streaking in that,
That'd be great.
Oh,
Well, that'd be
sexy.
That would be
that'd
quite
be
attractive.
a good-looking board.
Quite attractive.
So, yeah, Driftwood, new for 2019. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody from Tru North. I tried to send out a couple messages before we started recording this to make sure I was right on that. I know he told me there was a fire rating on the back. I assume it's a Class A. I don't I don't know that, but I assume that the reason for it was commercial, therefore, so I'm making some assumptions here. But anyways, new board, new color, fire rating in the back, everything's great.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay. This is the other new color, which I like this.
This one,
I'm
well, there's more variegation in it. There's more variegation in this one than any board in their lineup, I think. Right? So if we get that a little bit closer and see if the camera will focus in, you can see a bit more streaking in this one. This one's called Hickory, also in the Hardwood Collection. This is another one where they don't have the two-sided boards again. It's just a single-side board with a smooth back on it.
I don't know, that color kind of, it reminds me, I guess, kind of like that Cape Cod driftwood gray type thing.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of, in case you guys wonder why we're looking over our shoulder all the time, it's because our showroom is surrounding us, and so we're like, when we talk about a color from another brand, we're like physically looking at it.
Yeah.
But,
so this would be like Silver Teak or Coastline.
Kinda, right?
Yeah.
And a little bit of that silver maple even. Like, it's an attractive color palette nowadays. This color palette of these dirty grays.
This would be a board that you could throw on a brown tone exterior or a gray tone exterior.
Yeah, it would play off.
It would play off of both. It would pull colors from either or.
Yeah.
Which is good because that makes it more versatile, which in turn obviously could make it more popular. And
block out your face just like that.
Please do.
There you go. So yeah, this one looks good. I don't know. I want to be in love with what they're doing. I do, because I just think that Clubhouse is, from a quality and durability perspective, it's top of the line.
I think they nailed that. I just feel
and
like
warranty.
And warranty, yeah. I feel like just maybe with the colors, just missing the mark just a smidge. Like I think they could be banging boards. Like I think they could be super attractive boards. Even more so than they already are for the most part, just with a few color variations, whether it be more aggressive base colors or more aggressive variegation.
They're kind of caught in a catch-22 right now, because we sit here and both agree that adding some variegation into these, making them a little bit prettier, would be a good thing for Clubhouse. But there's been so much issues with changing colors from Clubhouse over the last couple of years that it would just piss people off.
Yeah.
If they actually went and did it. So it's a catch-22. Do you make the long-term strategic decision to make your boards more attractive by adding in some more variegation, making them a little bit more interesting, maybe adding a couple colors or something, and probably overall make it more attractive to the end consumer, but at the risk of all of your distribution network saying, "Oh, again?"
Yeah.
Like, seriously? Yeah. So it's a bit of a catch-22, but I don't want to rag on Clubhouse because it's a fantastic product. It's a good company. It's, they bounce around a bit. It's an
easy material to work with too. Like
it's great to work with.
For the DIYers.
And so we haven't even gotten to it, but this is the easiest bendable board.
It is, yeah. In
the market by a long shot. So if you're a contractor who's into heating and curving decks, and if you've worked with Clubhouse, you'll know that it's the one for using that application. It heats up the quickest, it bends the easiest without breaking it, it bends the tightest.
Yeah.
We did that bend 2 years ago.
11-inch radius?
On that 11-inch radius Sun in that one deck. I mean, that thing was this tight. We bent a deck board into a circle that tight, and it was perfect. There was it took us a few shots, but the end product was not bubbled, not wrinkled, not anything. You couldn't do that with another, I don't think anyway, with another brand.
It'd be tough. It'd be tough to pull that off.
I shouldn't say never, because even before we did that was never done, but
it just seems to be the most stable, even with heating. Like some of the other brands, PVC, when you're heating them, the inconsistencies in temperature, you're having to change the temperature on the blankets.
They blow up a little bit too sometimes, right? And they all do. When you get them hot, they get a little thicker.
Right.
But Clubhouse seems to be one of the most stable.
Yep.
Doesn't distort. The grain doesn't distort. It's an amazing product to do some bending with, to do some curving with. I think probably of the brands that we're going to do these little episodes for, this is likely the least. It's not great distribution. Certainly not like a Trex or a Fibron or a TimberTech. Those things you can find. You can find those anywhere. Any province, any state, you'll find a distributor for those. Clubhouse and even Wolf, probably a little bit trickier to find, but Clubhouse probably more so than any, especially With all the changes they had, I think they lost some distribution partners along the way, so they're rebuilding that back up. But certainly if you have any questions about where you can find Clubhouse, reach out to, I don't know, us, or even Clubhouse is on Instagram. I want to say it's at Clubhouse Decking, but just do a search and you'll find it. Great guy by the name of Jonathan Henson runs that account, so he would certainly be able to help you locate your closest Clubhouse retailer or distributor if you're looking for it. So that's Clubhouse. How was Christmas? It's Christmas time. Like, we're just finally back here. We're coming in on our day off. Store's not even open yet, but back off holidays. You had a good Christmas?
Yeah, it was Christmas. I mean, it's, you always plan on Christmas being super relaxing and non-chaotic, but that's never the case, which was the case this year again.
Yeah, as soon as you add kids into the mix.
Sick family over Christmas, so that's always good.
That's good.
It always adds to the festivities of things.
Yeah.
Other than that, we survived, I guess. And
surviving
you?
Christmas. It's same deal, man. We both have kids close in ages, so I think the whole rigmarole around Christmas is likely fairly similar for us. A lot of driving, a lot of families to see, and trying to keep your heads on. But
things to eat.
Things to eat. Yeah, I think today's the first day that I actually felt hunger today.
We have hockey tonight, though, so we're going to go work it off.
Yeah, that's right. Around 2 o'clock today, I was like, I'm actually hungry. I haven't felt this in about a week, eating so much stuff. There's always food out at Christmas time, which is great, right? So Clubhouse Decking, you guys now owned by Tru North Composites. Tru North Composites, Trunorth, out of Ontario. If you have any questions about their product, warranty, etc., check out their website, which I think is still clubhousedecking.com, or shoot a message on their Instagram account.
Take 2.
Welcome back.
So anyways, hunger.
We were saying.
Hunger, eh?
So this is what happens when you don't charge up your batteries fully over the holidays and you think you've got enough time in there to get this whole episode done.
Your battery,
and you don't.
That's the record light. Okay.
Yeah, but we're good now. So anyways, hunger.
Yeah.
Right at the end too. Really, we have nothing else to say other than wrap this thing up.
No.
So with that said, that was Clubhouse Decking. If you have any questions, hit us up on social media. Instagram is probably the best way to do that. Send us a message to @TheUltimateDeckShop. Follow us and shoot us a message on there, and we'll keep doing these, and you guys keep watching, and hit subscribe.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Okay, well, went not bad aside from the whole battery issue. Oh, that'll happen.